Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.
Welcome to Gun Sports Radio, all about shooting, hunting, and self-defense. Now, here are your hosts, Dave Stahl, Lance Pelkey, and Michael Schwartz.
All right, folks, welcome. This is Gun Sports Radio, right here on FM 96.1 in North County, AM 1170 in San Diego. We want to thank all of our sponsors, and the sponsor we have for this segment is the Gun Range San Diego, the Gun Range San Diego, 7853 Balboa Avenue in San Diego, 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Go to www.thegunrangesandiego.com. You will see unbelievable specials on ammo, firearms, training, clothing. You name it, they've got it. And this is truly the Nordstroms of gun ranges, just not the price. All right, we got Michael Schwartz and Lance Pelkey in the house. Lance, the co-host. We got our big contributor over here, Mr. Schwartz. Hey, you got a topic that a lot of people are a little bit uncomfortable talking about. What do you got?
Yeah, so just last week, at the end of the week, the Republicans in Sacramento issued a statement about the APPS program, which stands for Armed and Prohibited Persons program. APPS, APPS. And what that is it's actually a database created by Sacramento, by the legislature, that basically cross-references a bunch of other databases and finds people who are prohibited.
So they finally are going to collect all the criminals and put them in a database.
Prohibited and armed. Right, exactly.
It's all the criminals.
All the criminals, right? So they've been convicted of a crime. They have a registered firearm, or prohibited isn't just criminals. They could be prohibited due to some kind of mental crisis,
or maybe you've got a document from the courts to say you cannot do this, that, or the other.
Right, restraining order, something like that. Yeah. Exactly. So a prohibited person it's kind of a broad term, but it specifically means you can't have a gun, can't own a gun, for whatever reason. So this database is full of prohibited people who still are on record as having a firearm. In other words, they haven't said to the state of California, hey, I got rid of it, I sold it, it's no longer in my possession, I no longer own it, whatever.
You're just on the list.
Just still on the list. So the state of California said, all right, well, here's what we want to do. We're going to put a bunch of money into making sure that these folks, hand over their firearm for whatever reason. So there were about 20,000 people on this list in California, which really isn't huge considering the size of California.
Yeah. Yeah, but
20,000 people is a lot of people.
You got to go knock on a lot of doors at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right. And nothing was happening. So, it was 20,000 people for a couple years in a row. So they said, all right, well, let's put more money towards it. And they put $25 million more into it.
It's over $1 million a person.
Well, wait a minute. What did they do with the money they put into it the first time?
Well, that's a good question. Right. Some of the things that they put money into are, hiring more law enforcement than actually doing, the job of actually showing up and collecting the firearms. But Republicans basically said, look, we gave you $25 million more dollars, and it went from 20,000 people to 23,000 people. So what's going on? And basically they're,
Now, who are they? The Democrats?
Well, it's the Republican caucus in Sacramento that are doing this, yeah.
Oh.
Now, this is a huge, it's not just about $25 million. This is a huge subject. Should we have prohibited people? I think that most people agree that we should have prohibited people.
Well,
people
of course.
They're criminals. They've been proven to me. If that's the case, then what if they do have a firearm? How do we handle this? Well, obviously they should, some process should be put in place that says, hey, we have to get the firearm from people who are now prohibited. And there's a lot of criticism there. They've actually, the state of California has sent SWAT teams. Somebody who was they're a prohibited person. It's been a couple years, and they decided, hey, this is the person we're going to nail.
So they fired up the truck, and away they went.
Pre-dawn raid.
Of course, it's all overtime.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's all overtime too.
But
that's why they do it.
But what about a phone call? What about a letter? About just sending out?
It's got to be a process.
Yeah, sending out, just talking to their attorney. Hey, attorney, have you talked to your client about the fact that they're now prohibited? don't just fire up the truck, pre-dawn raid, SWAT
right.
team. I mean, think of how much that escalates the situation.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't just, we think about criminal. This is, it could be a white collar crime and now they're a felon. Could be some kind of mental crisis that they went through, for whatever reason. But boom, so there's a lot of criticism in how they're actually executing this thing. But then just the fact that, hey, $25 million later and there's 3,000 more people. I mean, this should be a little bit closer to zero after $25 million.
Well, and where is the accountability? Where is somebody saying, okay, let's just say, I don't know what the number was at the beginning, but let's say they gave him $20 million at first to get this program.
20. Well, okay, I got you. Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay, so they did their thing for $20 million, 2.5 years. It went up. It didn't go down. Wouldn't somebody look to them and say, let me see your accountability? Let me see what you spent that money on. And who would that person be? Newsom?
So that's what, the legislature would go after the Department of Justice. They're the California Department of Justice, the people that are executing this. But the legislature, that's part of the criticism. So now you have Republicans who are basically, rather than saying, hey, look, in their defense, they're clearly trying to make a statement about fiscal responsibility, but the optics of it are...
There's no fiscal there's none.
None at all, right?
None.
But the optics of it is basically, hey, how come you're not taking guns faster? Rather than really making it clear that, hey, this is a fiscal responsibility thing. Anti-gun, they're not all Democrats, but anti-gun legislators, do this virtue signaling where they pass some kind of new law, but then what happens? They don't actually execute. They don't actually, when it comes time for the rubber to meet the road, nothing's there.
So it's all hot air.
It's all hot air.
So in a way, California gun owners, you might be safe. Because if they're not going to go after the people that are on the list that they already know are bad and need the guns taken away, and they're afraid or for whatever reason they don't want to go get them, they're going to come get us.
Well, the other way to look at it, though, is, in a few weeks ago in Illinois, there was a guy who knew he was getting fired, so he brought a gun to work and he actually shot the place up. It was horrible. Well, that guy was a prohibited person.
Yes, he was.
He should not have had a gun, but he passed a background check because the background check systems was severely broken. Still, it's not much better. They did pass some legislation last year that hopefully will fix it a little bit. Anyway, he went for a concealed carry weapons permit, a CCW, in his state, and that background check ended up catching the fact that he's a prohibited person who owns a gun. And they said, hey, no, not only can you not have a CCW, but you really shouldn't have a gun. But there was no process in place.
Did they take it away?
They didn't take it away. So, this guy was able to go, hurt some people, which was horrible.
Okay, so let me ask a question, and I think this is truly what should happen. All the people that lost their lives in that terrible, terrible, horrific situation, should they not sue that state?
I would think they'd have a case.
I would think they would have a... Because, see, it's no different than... And I can't remember the guy's name, the kid with the Indian...
Yeah,
and he's suing the newspaper for $250 million.
Right. In Washington, D.C.
I think if some of those cases were finalized and the people that did these crimes lost, maybe that'll be an eye-opener. I don't know.
Well, so what's going to happen, though? Let's say one of these 23,000 people now went from 20 to 23,000. If one of these 23,000 people does do some kind of crime in California because, they're... a prohibited person, they still have guns. So,
and they kill somebody.
It's far more likely that they would be ones committing crime. Let's say they do that. What are they going to do? Well, they're going to use that as an opportunity to call for even more laws. Rather than say, hey, we keep saying, hey, enforce the laws in the book.
Yeah.
Enforce the laws in the book.
Quit making new ones.
So why should we have any faith in their ability?
None.
And why should we have any trust in their sincerity?
None.
When here's $25 million more, go take guns away from, I'm going to say bad guys. They're not all bad guys, but, bad guys, prohibited people.
If they're prohibited, there's some negativity
wrong. They're not necessarily bad, but, prohibited people. Here's
and
a
they're
way
not doing anything.
They're not doing anything. They don't care. They're going to virtue signal all day long. They're going to do things like pass laws that require an 8-hour course to get a CCW, even though that's already happening throughout the state. They're going to do that, but they're not going to do anything about actually making these laws work, making sure that 20,000 people doesn't turn into 23,000 people who are prohibited from owning firearms.
I don't get it.
So when I know you always talk about the fact that, hey, when are they going to actually talk about taking guns away from criminals. Well, here's a program where they can do it,
and they don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. That is just. What do you think, Lance?
We were talking about it on Facebook about criminals, us being shunned for the criminal action.
It's just.
I mean, the average guy. I mean, America was given the right to own a firearm when they became an American.
That's right.
That's just their God-given right. So
the Republicans are trying to keep them accountable in Sacramento. I honestly don't think that their PR on this situation was the best, but their intentions were good. And then it's all Becerra, the Attorney General, he doesn't care. Nobody cares. Nobody.
Well,
cares.
no, because that's controversial. That I don't want to do that.
No, it doesn't fit their agenda.
It's rubber. Yeah, doesn't fit the agenda.
No, let me just collect my check and take my security team.
When I say to them, hey, that sounds anti-gun, and they go, oh no, we're not anti-gun. We're not anti-gun. We're just trying to do common sense gun laws. This is proof positive. That's just not the case.
Yeah, if you were doing it, then that number would be maybe 8,000.
Right. It'd go from 20 to,
maybe 8.
15 to 8,000, whatever.
Yeah, but it's not. And they but who are we going to, who's going to talk to, who's going to put somebody's feet on the fire?
And they wouldn't be SWAT teams doing no-knock pre-dawn raids.
Yeah.
They'd be people that are, hey, look, we have a sincere
do it civil. Be civil about it. Say, look, hey, Mr. Schwartz, we see that you're not allowed to own a gun. We're coming over to your house, and we're going to pick up your guns. What time's a good time for you?
Right. And if at that point there's no compliance or there's some kind of hostility,
then you get up at 3 a.m. and
escalate it as
fire up the truck and go in there and scare the neighborhood. And we got to take a break. Jeez Louise, you're getting as bad as Dylan. I don't know about you. This is Gun Sports Radio, folks. You're going to get all the straight skinny here. You may not get it anywhere in any other outlet, but you'll always get honesty from Gun Sports Radio. FM 96.1, AM 1170, The Answer. Folks, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1 AM 1170, The Answer. This segment is brought to you by the good folks at Cali Key. Hey, folks, have you ever been dragging your feet in making your AR rifle California legal and recognize the new gun laws? Somebody changed the commercial on me and didn't tell me. If you want your AR to have a pistol grip, telescoping stock, foregrip, and still have a detachable magazine, check out Cali Key. Whether you're buying a new AR or need to make your current AR compliant, Cali Key is the most cost-effective way to do it. Easy solution that will allow you to keep your AR compliant and future-proof your AR from all those terrible California gun laws. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. Check out Cali Key at CaliKey.com, KALIKEY.com. Hey, do you or any of your family keep a taser, pepper spray, firearm, or other weapons for personal protection? I see you didn't mess with this one.
No, I didn't.
Do you have or are you going to get a CCW? If you're involved in an incident, what are your plans to pay for bail, lawyers, and all that? Well, for $10 a month, or less than $10 a month, you can go to Firearms Legal Protection and get 24-hour-a-day, 7-day a week, 365 days a year coverage. That's right, for less than $10 a month. That's firearmslegal.com. Call them at 469-310-9100. Trust me, if you're going to own any type of a protection device, whether it's a gun, a knife, a bazooka, a baseball bat, or a 400-pound Rottweiler, you might want to call firearmslegal.com. All right. Hey, we don't have Dylan calling in today, I see.
Yeah, he's supposed to call in.
Well, I don't see him on the big phone of life. Oh, I guess we're early, huh? My mistake. What are we doing at the 4:15?
That's the segment. I got something cool to talk about with Cali Key. That's something I discovered. If you want to,
Coolios, what do you got?
So I discovered something very interesting about a Cali Key. Cali Keys are obviously a great product, and they make your AR bolt action, right? Mm-hmm. Manual action. It's not exactly bolt action, but it's manual action. So it's no longer a semi-automatic rifle, your AR, and that, of course, is designed to get you around the assault weapon ban in California. So nationally, a rifle is any long gun has to be at least 26 inches long. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the federal law. But in California, if you have a rifle that's semi-automatic, it has to be at least 30 inches long. Otherwise, it's considered an assault weapon.
And why is California different?
Because they have the assault. Why is California different? I just
thought I'd see if I could stump you.
They're different in every way. So California is different in that that assault weapons ban means that your gun has to be at least 30 inches. That's part of the deal for assault weapons. It's got to be at least 30 inches overall length. So the interesting thing is this: there are a number of stocks out there that are collapsible or telescoping or collapsible. So some of them are short enough to where they would drop your AR's overall length on a typical 16-inch barrel. Your overall length on an AR would drop below 30 inches on some of the collapsible stocks. Mm-hmm. With a Cali Key, you wouldn't have to worry about that because it's no longer a semi-automatic. So there have been a lot of people, everybody basically has at least a 30-inch barrel AR, overall length, AR. But if you have a Cali Key, you can drop that down to at least 26 would be the national.
Yeah, because it turns it into a bolt action, takes it away from the semi-auto, and
turns it into a bolt action because if
wait, listen, I hear Sacramento.
Exactly.
I hear Sacramento.
They're crying. You hear baby crying.
Did you just hear what Mr. Schwartz just said? Jesus, get the law books out. We got to rewrite it. Oh, we didn't catch that one.
But it's one thing that not a lot of people realize. It's really funny. A lot of these laws in California, people get so used to them that they just kind of think this is normal. This is the normal.
Yeah, right. Here comes another one.
Right. But across the country, 49 or whatever, 47 other states. I'm not sure how Massachusetts has their assault weapons ban structured, but 47, 40, whatever other states out there, you can have an AR that's 26, 27, 28 inches. But here in California, if it's under 30, it's considered assault weapons.
Those other 49 states are watching California on a daily basis. Right?
Oh, yeah. Joe Germisi, one of our board members, just put out yet another fantastic blog on our website. If you go to SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com and go to our blog section, and the blog's all about, hey, if you're fleeing California, you're not fleeing gun laws. You're just running away from the fight.
That's right.
All across the country. If you look at some of these other states, Florida just passed a law that said that, adults that are 18, 19, 20 years old, they can't buy a firearm. Texas, they almost elected Beto O'Rourke. I mean, it came real close. He's about as anti-gun as they get. Across the nation, even in some of the, Montana and Idaho, some of these states that you think would never be, anti-gun, frankly are. And they're all looking to California. California, sure. One of California's number one imports now is bad gun laws.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And what gets me is, if you know anything about guns and gun ownership, the laws are just as dumb as a rock.
Yeah.
When you really come right down, you can tell these laws are written by people that have never fired a firearm, never been brought up in a family where they taught you how to, use a gun at a young age. Like everyone in this room started with a BB gun, right?
Right.
Moved to a 22, and we even got Hannah in the other room, and she's young. She's only 7.
She's like 12 is she 7?
She's 7.
All right.
Yeah, she's only 7.
Sure.
But you know what I'm saying? But it's just like there's a disconnect. And now the people that are making these laws.
Well, we're doing a series of interviews. San Diego County Gun Owners, we're doing a series of interviews of law enforcement professionals and talking about basically armed citizens. And yesterday morning, Exis and I, does all our video work, great guy, we went and interviewed a guy named Jared Reston, who is a 20-plus year veteran of, law enforcement officer out of Florida. Mm. He's in town thanks to Nancy from Tough Products. And I think we should get Nancy on the.
Yeah, I was going to say,
we should interview her. She couldn't make it today. I invited her. But anyway, we're interviewing him and talking to him about armed citizens, that sort of thing. Off camera, we were talking a little bit about some of the gun laws. And, it's not even just that they're bad gun laws, but they didn't make sense. Like, they didn't even make sense to him. Like, it was just like total Greek. Like, well, what does that even accomplish? What does it even do?
Yeah.
Here's a guy who's on a SWAT team, law enforcement. He's actually part of the story. Is really amazing. Part of the story is he was actually chasing down a perp. He tried to tase the person. They pulled a gun and shot him 7 times.
Wow.
Including one through the jaw.
They shot the police officer?
The police officer, Jared Reston, shot him. He got shot 7 times by this guy.
But he survived.
He survived. He actually,
He's probably retired.
It took him about 1.5 years, but he was back, and he's a law enforcement officer, and he kept going.
He's dedicated.
Oh, this guy's I think he's like 6'5". He's the most intimidating. He's a really nice guy, but I was like, God, no wonder 7 bullets couldn't take this guy out. This guy's tough as nails. Really good dude, really nice guy. But now he travels the country and he teaches civilians, typically advanced firearms.
Right.
But other law enforcement and civilians. Anyway, you would think somebody that got shot 7 times would be anti-gun, especially a law enforcement officer. No, absolutely not. Especially women have a CCW. You should definitely be armed. Whoa. It was fascinating to talk to. And the interesting part is the person that shot him, who he had to tase. He actually had to shoot him, and now that guy's no longer with us. The criminal that shot him. So. He said that this guy obtained the gun or got the gun illegally. It was stolen from a gun shop when the criminal was like 3 years old. So clearly he didn't rob a gun shop when he was 3 years old. This stolen gun had been floating out there, criminal to criminal. Yeah. It ended up in his hands, and it was a .45 caliber Glock. It's crazy out. It's just crazy,
and it's not getting any better. And Jesus, we're going to have to extend.
Yeah, Jared Reston is the guy's name. If you're out there listening, Google him. But we're going to have a little video interview of him, and we'll bring Nancy on from Tough Products to talk about. She's constantly bringing kind of these high-profile trainers to come out and train.
All right.
And she's doing a really great job. And Tough Products is doing a really great job with their holsters and that sort of thing.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, a whole lot more right here on Gun Sports Radio. FM 96.1 in North County, AM 1170 in San Diego. Intelligent, conservative talk radio. The answer. All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. You are listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1. in North County, AM 1170 in San Diego. Intelligent, conservative, we are the answer. Hey, you folks, have you been dragging your feet and making your AR rifle California legal, or are you just going to wait for John Law to straighten you out? Well, don't let that happen. You need to get a Cali key. It's so easy. I mean, you really need to do it. And not only that, once you put that Cali key in your AR, you're totally straight. You're legal. You don't have to worry about a thing. You can future-proof your AR for all those horrible California gun laws coming up. You can keep your entire collection intact at a price you could afford. Go to CaliKey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. All right, hey, this segment's brought to you by the Gun Range San Diego, 7853 Balboa Avenue, San Diego, 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Go to the Gun Range San Diego. They've got specials on weapons, firearms, ammunition, clothing, class. I mean, it's an awesome program. You really need to go 7 days a week, 10 to 10. You got a bunch of guys or girls you want to throw a party together, or maybe you have a business and you want to motivate your team. This is a great way. You go down to Gun Range San Diego as a party. They'll hook you up. In fact, in some cases, they'll even open the doors early for you. I mean, they've done that in the past. So if you really want to get all your folks together and motivate them and protect them and show them the safety side of owning a gun, the folks at Gun Range San Diego is where you need to be. In fact, we've got one of the guys on the line right now that would probably help you get through that. Casey, how we doing, bud?
How you guys doing?
We're doing good. How are you doing?
You sound like you're not feeling well.
No, I lost my voice, I was out at a concert down in PB, so still recovering from that as best I can.
Oh, concert.
In PB.
What concert?
Yeah, what concert was?
It was over at Moonshine Beach, so every Friday night they do a live band in there. I don't know who it was. I was just there having a good time.
All right, well, stop
He was
screaming.
just escaping Alpine for a while.
Hey, don't you know you have a voice for radio and you need to protect that voice?
Let me try and boost my voice here. I'll fake it as best I can. I'll put the Jason voice on and talk to you all sultry like.
Oh yeah, Jason's got that one too. All right, so what's kicking, my friend? What do you got for us?
What's kicking? All right, so we got a couple things coming up. But, a little tech tip for the week. How bad do you want it? How often are you training? Are you really training just once a week when you come to the gun range, or are you at home actually doing your dry runs, your dry fires? When it comes down to it, it's shooting and firearms and everything is a perishable skill. If you're not actively practicing it, you're going to get rusty. You're going to fail at certain things. And it's important to actually practice. Me, I like to do my dry runs every day. Even if it's only 10, 15 minutes, I'm watching TV, put my holster on, put my mags on, and just practice my reloads. I'll practice my reloads. I'll practice my malfunction drills. Everything, just because, one, it keeps me tactically and technically proficient in my skills, and it just kind of busts the rust when I'm not having time to go shoot. Because, most people, if you're not coming into the range every day, you're kind of not, doing yourself a favor on that part.
And when people are doing those tactical drills at home, how about some safety? What kind of safety, precautions should they take, Casey?
One, visually and physically inspect that your weapon is unloaded. And the other one is use snap caps. Snap caps are always different. They're usually brighter colored and whatnot. Keep those separate from all your live ammunition just so you know, hey, these are my snap caps. These are what it on. Now it is on to you to verify that information. There is no such thing as accidents in the firearm world. It's only negligence. And I say that almost every time I'm on here because we see it all the time. Yesterday we had a guy do a negligent discharge with the .44 Magnum.
Oh.
Yeah, luckily it's still pointed down range. But, things happen because people don't pay attention and they don't practice and they don't train themselves to always keep in that mindset that when they're handling a firearm, they need to be on point with it, no distractions, and understand what is going on. And if something does happen, it's on them.
Well, that's the beauty of the four universal rules. You have to break multiple rules in order for something truly bad to happen. So he was pointed down range, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is good, but he broke at least two, right?
Yep.
Because he went.
Yeah, he had the finger on the trigger. It was a revolver, so safety kind of null and void. But the weapon was loaded, and he said it was unloaded from one of our RSOs that dealt with it. Our RSO was going up there to inspect it. The guy said he has a malfunction or whatnot. So we go up there, and the guy just puts his hand on the gun, and his finger goes straight on the trigger, and boom!
Yep.
That's around down range, and we had to take precautionary measures for that because people laugh and joke at it. It's not a joke at that point. That's not an accident. That is you being negligent and putting everybody else in risk in there. And that's why it's so important to practice and train. If you don't have your own firearms, it's a great time for you to come in here. Ask us. We are here to help. We can give you tips and pointers on what you can do to proficiently handle firearms.
Yeah, and then going back to people being at home, what about selecting a wall, or to shoot at or dry fire at, rather, that there's no one behind that wall.
Yep, exactly. You know what's on that wall. So that's another thing when it comes, you have the 4 weapon safety rules, and then there's that 5th one that's just there, which is know your target and what lies beyond. Are you going to be sitting there in front of your big bay window pointing right out to the public, pointing a gun out that way? I don't think so. But, let's be honest, there's people that probably do that. If you're going to be doing your dry runs, put up your little paper target on the wall. They have these awesome things called laser light guns, which are like a Glock 19, Glock 17, and they just shoot the little laser out. Those are also great training tools because you can actually get a little vision of, okay, I missed the bullseye on that one. I was a little bit low. I flinched on that one. But, doing dry runs with an unloaded weapon, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you verify it and take all the precautionary measures. If somehow, some way, in a god-awful situation that a live round did get loaded in your mag, if at least you know which wall it is and what's behind it, and not like kids playing or your family members or anything there, preferably a reinforced wall.
Well, one of the big advantages of dry fire too is it's you don't develop a flinch. If there's no big bang when you pull the trigger, then you're not going to develop a flinch, which sometimes is really difficult to not avoid. It's difficult to avoid developing a flinch. So if you're dry firing and there's no big bang, you're hopefully your trigger pull is going to be smoother.
Yep, and it helps you get rid of those little tweaks on it. What I like to do is I film myself while I do it, and I'll rewatch some of the video and be like, okay, I twitch right there. I move this hand ever so slightly lower, and I figure out why did I do that, and I can see, I kind of shifted my movement over. It's always good to self-critique yourself. You're not going to always have somebody there to do that, and I want to be the best in my skill as I can, so I'm going to practice at it. You have these bodybuilders, weightlifters out there. They're not just, lifting one day a week and saying, I'm good enough. Absolutely not. If you want to be proficient in firearms, you have to practice it every day. 10, 15 minutes out of your day, get out there, do your dry runs, do your trigger drills, do your mag changes, everything to get you proficient. So that when it comes down to it, it becomes that muscle memory.
That's what it is, yeah. And I mean, and if for people who don't feel comfortable, maybe, strap it on the holster and the whole deal, what about air guitar, just doing it without, an actual pistol in their hand. Or if they live in a condo and they feel like people are looking in on them, they don't want to be all rigged up, then they could just, go for a dry fire without the weapon.
Dry fires out there. I mean, there's also airsoft guns out there. I mean, let's be honest, how some of these airsoft guns are, they're so realistic. If you look at it, I wouldn't know the difference. And, there's a whole nother story there. But, if you don't feel like comfortable doing that, you can get an airsoft gun. Something like that gives you the technique and the feel on your hands, Doing it with the air gun or with your, finger pistols and whatnot, it's not bad. It'll help you get the motions in and the repetitions and whatnot, but, it's all about getting comfortable with it. And if you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. Just come to the range and we'll help you work out, And a lot of the big one is when it comes to concealed carrying. We do have on our range, we allow people to shoot from holsters. We don't allow it to do full concealed because we had a couple incidents, and that's just how it is. We can't let people do it because, yes, maybe you are proficient at it because you practice. That doesn't mean that, person X, Y, Z over here are. And it's just too much of a risk at point. So if you want to do your full concealed dry runs, that's the place to do it.
Well, do you guys have, I forget, and forgive me for not knowing this, but do you guys host, I'm going to say IDPA, but pistol competitions like IDPA or IPSC or anything like that?
Yeah. We do. We have a member here named John Batista. He does, I believe it's the third Sunday of every month. They do a USPCA shoot. If people want his information, they can give us a call here at the gun range. He is pretty selective about it, so he will kind of do a background check to make sure you are competent. It's not just for every single person to go in and just start blasting rounds down range, because it is a full course. You're going to be moving, you're going to be running, and it's going to be under a little bit of stress. But yeah, we do those here, once a month, and it's just for fun.
Awesome.
It's a good time. Yeah, it's an absolutely good time.
And in the couple of minutes we have left, you guys run any specials down there?
Yeah, so what we're doing right now with how Glocks are and whatnot, so we have our Glock 17 or our Glock 19. We're basically doing an accessory package for it. Both Glocks are going for $499. For $160 more, we will install night sights, an extended slide release, an extended mag release, and then the, what's the last part on it? Night sights, yes, that's it. Oh, and Talent grip wraps. They come in sandpaper and a rubber one. Basically, what happens with that is once the dross paper is all done at your gun, we install it, no charge extra on that. And so that way the sights are called Night Fusions. I saw them at SHOT Show, checked them out. Pretty much just like Trijicon HDs, and they're excellent. So we have them on a couple of our rental guns. You can check them out. So that's a little sale that we're doing for our Glocks, kind of, changing out the things that people will always change out on their Glocks. Excellent. Good. And then still doing the specials on Monday and Tuesday night? Yes, we are. So, yeah, Monday, $10 off all rentals all day. Tuesdays after 5 o'clock, it's $5 per person to shoot. Tuesdays do get a little busy, so if you want to do those, come at the top of the hour. So come at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those times are there. That way you'll get right on the lane. Beautiful. All right, buddy. Hey, well, thanks a million for calling in. Enjoy the rest of your day. Go take a throat lozenge. Have a good one, guys. Thank you, Casey. Right. Hey, by the way, we don't want to forget John Dillon at Gatsky, Dillon & Balance, LLP. If you're in the need of a gun lawyer, he is it. If you belong to firearmslegal.com, you might even get him as a representative.
In the meantime, go to cafirearmslaw.com, cafirearmslaw.com, or you can call them at 760-431-9501. John is an expert when it comes to protecting your rights. Give him a shot. All right, we're going to take a small break. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170. We are the answer. All right, folks. Hey, do you or any of your family keep a taser, pepper spray, firearm, or other weapon for personal protection? Do you have or are you going to get a CCW? Well, if you're involved in an incident, what is your plan to pay for bail and expensive lawyer costs? Talk to the good folks at Firearms Legal Protection. For less than $10 a month, you'll have peace of mind knowing a 24-hour hotline and legal representation is waiting for you and your family. That's Firearms Legal Protection at www.firearmslegal.com or call them at 844-357-9400. That's firearmslegal.com. Another number, in case you didn't like the first one, 469-310-9100. All right, so guess what, folks? Are we going to talk to
Sam the Gunman?
Sam the Gunman. Not in the house, almost in the house.
Almost.
Yeah, he's at his house.
In Virginia.
A
big old chocolate milk.
So it's time for another exciting episode of Stump My Nephew. Sam, Sam, are you there?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. It's called Stump My Nephew. How come you've never once on radio called me Uncle Mike?
Good afternoon, Uncle Mike.
People are like, I don't understand why is it called Stump My Nephew? Because he's my nephew. He doesn't seem to want to admit it, but he's my nephew. All right, okay.
Can you blame him?
I know, right? All right, my friend, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, this comes from Suzanne in San Marcos. Suzanne wants you to name the first successful mass-produced, or really manufactured at all, but the first successful semi-automatic shotgun.
Suzanne in San Marcos asking me to name the first commercially successful semi-automatic shotgun. That's a good question. It's a tricky one. My guess would be the Auto 5, as mentioned last week, but because of the timing, I would suspect that might be wrong.
No, that's right. That's awesome. It's absolutely it's
first shot out of the box.
That's a Browning?
Yeah, John Browning designed the Browning Automatic 5, or sometimes called the A5. All right, how about a little bit of just extra credit, real quick? Extra credit. Give me a year, and I'll give you a little leeway on this. But give me a year that it was produced. What year was it produced?
I don't know about the year. It was sometime in the late 1800s or early 1900s. That's about all I can give you.
Designed in 1898, actually started in service 1905. So you pretty much got it. Yeah, and that's why I give you some leeway. It's a little confusing. It looks like it took them a while to get it off the ground. Awesome job,
as usual.
Suzanne from San Marcos does not get a T-shirt, and you again have done a fantastic job. Congratulations!
But you need to be sending him something for getting all these right.
We're sending. Here's what he's getting, and this ties into our next guest. I think he's getting to go to Front Sight in a couple of weeks. And I'll make sure he gets T-shirts and hats and another mug with some chocolate milk in it.
Should we leave him at least?
Have Stan stay on.
I was going to say, Sam, you want to stay online? That way you can hear about what's coming?
I got a quick question for you before you go, though. So did that shotgun see service during World War I? To your knowledge, I'm just asking.
I haven't seen any mention of it being used in World War I. They did use a couple of pump-action shotguns. The Americans did. They saw some service, but they had a few reliability issues because back then shotgun shells were still made of paper and they would absorb water and,
Yeah, makes sense. That's cool, man. Cool. Well, hey, thanks again.
All right. Hey, Lance, are you there?
I'm here.
Tell this boy what he's going to get when he gets out there to Pahrump.
You mean Lance Pelkey?
No.
We've got Sam the Gunman on.
Sam the Gunman.
My nephew's coming out. Yeah.
Sam the Gunman. Well, this is our 6th annual handgun and rifle course for leukemia lymphoma. And, it was nice listening to you earlier in the show talk about training with the other guys and this just follows suit because this is truly amazing, life-saving training. And before I get into that, I want to acknowledge and thank you guys at Gun Sports Radio for being our media sponsor this year and doing so much to promote this leukemia and lymphoma charity. And I also want to acknowledge Michael Schwartz and the amazing work the San Diego County Gun Owners is doing to bring CCWs to the wallets of people all over San Diego County. And along with those permits, people need to have quality training. And I love the fact that you've been addressing that on your show today. This event that we are hosting in 12 days, our 6th annual, is 4 days of training for everybody that wants to stay for the entire course. People also have the option of dipping their toes in the water and just coming out for 2 days or 3 days, but the full course is 4 days. But to give Sam, the answer man, a little idea of the training he's going to get, the handgun training is concealed training. So our course is going to teach people how to draw their handgun from a concealed holster and get 2 shots off in a thoracic cavity in 1.5 seconds. We're going to teach people how to do a designated headshot in a 4x3-inch head box, the kill zone, from a concealed holster in 1.9 seconds. We're going to teach people how to do hostage rescue shots. We're going to teach them how to really run their gun, and what that means is being able to do tactical reloads and emergency reloads, because guns do run out of ammo. We're going to teach them how to clear a Type 1, a Type 2, and a Type 3 malfunction clearance and get back in the gunfight, because guns do jam. In fact, we're going to teach all the people at this charity event how to clear a Type 1 malfunction, meaning they've got a gun in their hand that's non-functioning, and we're going to get that cleared. We're going to get their sights back on the target, their finger on the trigger, ready to press if they need to, in 1.4 seconds. And earlier in the show, you guys were talking about muscle memory. That is so crucial, because if you ever need to use your firearm in self-defense, you don't have time to think about things. It has to be muscle memory. You have to have practiced something 300, 400, 500, 1,000 times, so that, with that adrenaline rush and that fear and that tunnel vision and your fear for your life or fear for your loved one, you have to be able to act instinctually. You have to have already practiced that hundreds of times.
Lance,
this charity event.
Lance, yeah. So we've been getting a lot of seminars on how to get your CCW, and one of the things we talk about a lot is training and saying, about the middle of the seminar, we say, hey, look, this is more than just marksmanship. You got to learn a lot to have a CCW and carry successfully. And one of the things I ask is how many people have actually pulled from concealment and got a shot on target. And how many people, and a bunch of hands usually go up, how many people have done it 500 times? About 90% of the people that have done it 500 times went to front sight. Nobody else is doing it that much. So,
good point.
Yeah, I agree. And Michael, thank you. I mean, you come out to this charity event every year. You know the value of training. You know the value of continued training. Your wife is coming for the second time this year, and you've got more family members coming.
I got, of course, my nephew. In
fact, he's on the line. Yeah. Sam, do you have a question for Lance?
No, he answered them all before I could ask any.
How about how many rounds is he going to go? He unfortunately, Sam can only stay for 2 days, but how many rounds is Sam going to go through in 2 days?
In 2 days, he'll go through about 300 rounds. It's for the full 4 days, it's 650 rounds, but for 2 days, he'll go through about 300.
Yep, and my mother-in-law and my mother-in-law's husband are coming, so it's a whole big family affair for the Schwartz
terrific.
Well, that's amazing. So.
And I got a question for Lance real quick. So how many people do you have signed up this year so far? And I know it's closed. Tell people about that.
Yeah, we're already closed. We closed reservation 3 weeks before the event, and we're 12 days out now. So we had about 245 registered for the event this year.
Good.
Bigger and better. The raffle that we're going to do at this event is the biggest raffle prizes we've ever given away. You guys were talking with Sam about semi-automatic shotguns. We've got two shotguns that we're giving away in the raffle that are magazine fed rather than tube fed. Just some amazing prizes. Precision rifle, 1911 handguns, subcompact concealed carry guns, 3,000 rounds of ammo we're raffling off. We raised over $36,000 last spring for leukemia lymphoma. And this year it's going to be even bigger.
And Lance, with the 20 seconds we have left, if people want to just sign up and look at the raffle and maybe buy raffle tickets, they don't have to be in attendance. Is that correct? Where do they go?
That is correct. You can go online and get as many raffle tickets if you like. No, going to be present. www.charitycourse.gives is the website. It's not .com. It's charitycourse.gives. Buy raffle tickets, sign up for information for next year's charity event. All the information's there.
Well, we appreciate you being on, and we love sponsoring this great event. As you could tell from what Mike said, his comments, a lot of people have been there. We will be there. Thank you and Tatiana for your for putting this on, and what a great charity.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Hey, we really want to thank all our sponsors for sure. We got to do that before we get off air. San Diego County Gun Owners. You can go to their website, SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com. The Gun Range San Diego, their website is thegunrangesandiego.com. John Dillon's law firm, CAFirearmsLaw.com. And then, of course, FirearmsLegal.com, one of our great sponsors. And last but not least, Cali Key. Their website is KALIKEY.com. And I really want to thank Lance, Michael Schwartz, Casey, John Dillon, and, of course, our awesome board op. You're on the list. Gets all testy. You're only 7. You're not going to the front of the line. You're on the back, girl. All right, hey, we're going to take a small break. When we come back, hey, there's a whole new show. We're going to talk to a gentleman that's going to blow you away. We are going to talk to Head of Communications, Rolls-Royce Motor Cars, and Brian Armstead on the line right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170, The Answer.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.